Kia ora, Helen Brahms coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, thankful Thursday. Yes! Sorry, it's been a very up and down day, and I'm just like full of energy right now. So sorry you guys get the brunt of it. I apologize. Actually, I don't. That would not be fair. Excuse me. Okay, so today is Thankful Thursday. What are you most, this morning we talked about what you're most thankful for that, grateful for that happened this week. What are you most grateful for that happened today? I had a really good start to the day, got everything on time and everything today. It was awesome. Got some good training in this morning, had a couple of good meetings, got on the help desk, helping lots of people. It was awesome. Had, was it 3? Yeah, it was 3 chats going at one time that were all requiring longer answers than normal, having to dive deep in different things, like answering lots and lots of questions, which was great because I love answering the questions if it helps the person understand better what it is that they need to do. And that was very much of a brain drain on me for the later part of the afternoon. And then when I finished on the help desk, I had an hour. I kid you not. I had an hour to be back to take Zeffy for a walk and then get back here and get on for my mastermind call. And Zeffy has this thing of, now this is, you have to remember, when I first adopted her, she was 8.5 months old. She was so scared that she was in the back of the crate trying to look as small and inconspicuous as possible. At her very first adoption event, it took me 2 hours of sitting with her, carrying her, walking with her. She did not want to walk with me anywhere. But she was very good at escaping out of the different leashes that collars and harnesses, and we finally found one that worked. But I spent a lot of time just sitting with her, talking with her, holding her, just giving her loves and hugs and all of that before we completed the paperwork. And then we went for shopping for an hour, and she actually fell asleep while we were shopping. That was the funniest thing. There was a PetSmart employee nearby when I did this. The first thing I put her in the cart. They offered at the adoption event to hold on to her till I got back while I went shopping. I went, absolutely not. I was scared they'd adopt her out again to somebody else. Plus the fact I was still bonding with her as well. So I put her in the shopping cart because she was not going to walk on a leash. And we went into PetSmart. I went straight to where they have the dog beds. I pulled off 3 different beds, put her on the floor, held onto a leash and said, pick one. And she walked straight up to this one. And she had 3. There were 3 different types there. She walks straight up to this first one, climbs into it, curls up and goes to sleep. And the PetSmart woman says, I have never seen that happen before. I said, oh, I do this with, I said, my past 2 dogs, I took them into the pet store and I pulled down 3 beds and said, pick one. I said, this is the first time one of them's gone direct and actually curled up. I said, the other 2 sniffed up and down, and I'd tell them to pick one, and they'd sniff up and down, and then they'll go and sit on one, and that would be the one that they wanted. I said, this one, she obviously knows what she wants, because she just walked up there and went to sleep, and then she wouldn't get off, so I just picked up her in the bed and stuck her in the bottom of the shopping cart, and off we ran around to get, all of her supplies and everything, and it was all packed in and around her and under her, and yeah. that was how I brought it. But to see her going from that very scared little dog to the confident pup that she is today, after just over 2 years, has been incredible. When we go for walks now, she will go trotting up to people she's never met before. Like, she sees people, oh, new person, let's go over here and say hello. And remember, this was a dog that would like hide from people. When I got her walking outside around the campground that we were staying at the time, people would be walking up, and she'd get as close to me as she could. Like, she knew I was a safe space, but she wouldn't branch out to go sniffing anything. She would kind of stay close. She had never been on grass before. So the first time when we went grass, she kind of sniffed at it and then just backed away. She wasn't going to go near it. So I just picked her up, stuck her in the middle of the grass patch, and she stood there, and you could see her physically shaking. And then she got up on her tippy toes and kind of like tiptoed across the grass to get off it. Oh, poor thing. Oh my gosh. And then I kept doing that with her, and then she finally got used to it, and now she gets on the grass there, eats it. She loves to eat the grass. And she especially loves the day when the landscapers have been, because there's chunks of, they go over there with the mowers and stuff. You know how on the mowers, around the blades and stuff, you get those, the collection of grass that creates those clumps. Yeah, she likes to pick up the clumps as we're walking along and chomp, chomp, chomp. Like, other dogs have peed and pooped on that. You don't need to be eating that. But she ignores me anyway. So, and by the time I try to get it out of her mouth, it's gone. She's either dropped it or she's eaten it. She's very quick. I mentioned she's quick. But yeah, so she enjoyed her walk, and she saw new people today. She heard a new voice, and she's sort of like, and goes trotting over there like, like, gotta say hi. And I stopped, and I just stopped where I was. She got to the end of her leash, and I said, you have not been invited onto their property. You cannot go there. You have to stay here. And she looked at me. She looks back at this guy and goes, like, please, can I come sit? And I said, no. I said, you have not been invited. You're not going over there. We've got to go get your dinner. And dinner, she sort of like turns her head at me, and I says, come on, let's go, and trots off. So she definitely understands a lot of words, which is kind of funny. So we got back from the mastermind, so we're out a little longer because she was doing all of her chatting up with people. And of course she sees golf carts and goes after that. And that's because one of the security guards, Chuck, was one of the very first ones, stopped the golf cart one time and gave her a treat from the golf cart. Now, this was a dog that jumped out of the golf cart, did not like riding in golf carts. I would have to have my arm around her and hold onto her harness tight and keep her tucked into my side while driving around in the golf cart. And I'd have the front half of the windshield folded down, so we were getting the wind straight in our face, and she'd be and then you'd feel her relax against me, but I held firm on that harness of hers and her leash and her harness, because I knew how quick she was. But yeah, and then the other day, one of the other security guards here, stopped to give her a treat. He stops, she jumps up on the floorboards next to him and looks at him like, what you got for me? So if the golf cart is parked or not, if Zeffie sees a golf cart, she has to go and investigate it for treats. It's going to be a hard one to break, but we're going to have to break her of that one. So anyway, so we got back here and then got ready for the mastermind. For our masterminding. Oh, I love my mastermind group. My mastermind group is amazing. We have awesome leaders. We have great entrepreneurs in the group. And we got to celebrate a lot of wins today, which was awesome. Everybody's doing so well for the beginning of the year. And we got Networking Riches coming up on Saturday. So we got to talk about Saturday and Sunday this weekend. So we got to talk about what's going to be happening there. And we got a sneak peek to some new stuff. But that's all I'm telling you. If you want to find out what it is, you're going to have to come. And the link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. Register at havetonetwork.com and you come for free as my guest. So go register. Come find out what the new stuff is. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's going to be awesome. I am super excited for this weekend. I cannot tell you. I don't want to race through tomorrow because I enjoy Fridays. Fridays are a good day of the week. And there's some stuff I want to get done before Saturday. So I need to have my Friday. So I'm not going to wish my Friday away. I'm going to have a very enjoyable Friday. Tomorrow is the last day of my manifesting challenge that I am doing. It is also the 14th anniversary of the day Brad was diagnosed with cancer. And it is my third grandson's first birthday. And he bears Brad's name. So it's tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. There's so much cool stuff happening. So I definitely don't want to race through it to get to the weekend, even though I am excited for the weekend. Yes. But anyway, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Gotta get, because some of the stuff I have to do is to do with my genealogy business tomorrow as well. So I need to get some stuff there. Because after doing the class last week, I was like, I kind of like the idea of having a question. Because most of my clients around says, I want to find out information about this particular person in my family tree. We're like, okay. But with what I learned last week is we take that I want to know everything about this person down to a more specific question, and then we have to prove or disprove that the answer to that question. So did they do that or did they not do that? If they did do that, what proof do I have to back that up? If I turn around and say, well, they didn't do that, or they weren't part of this, project, that's what was the one we had? One of the ones we had that was shown to us, it was really cool. Oh, what was that one? It was one of the evening ones, and they'd always maintained that this guy had been part of this particular project, and people had, there was other stuff. There was rumors that he had been part of this project. So then they found this newspaper article that said he was not part of the project. He actually got asked to stay behind and work on this other project. And when they started looking at information for that other project, this guy kept popping up all over the place. So they were able to disprove the rumor that he was not part of the original project, that he was in fact part of a secondary project, and they had everything to back it up. So it's taking that question, was he part of this project, and proving that he wasn't part of that project, but he was part of this other project over here, and here's all the information to back it up. So it's kind of cool. So you get in there with a specific question, and then you go and answer that question. So like my question for the week for my homework was, when did my second great grandmother come to New Zealand from Australia? Now, we know that she was living in Australia, and we know that she lived and died in New Zealand. She was actually born in England, and we have the date that she arrived in Melbourne, Australia. We have the date that she arrived, the ship that she arrived on, the passenger list that shows her on there, and everything else. But we cannot find any shipping record out of all of the hundreds that there are during that 13-month period that said that she moved from Australia to New Zealand. The only way we can prove that she moved from Australia to New Zealand is that she and her husband had these children in Australia, and then 13 months later, they had these kids. The next one was born in New Zealand, and here's all the stuff about them in New Zealand, and here's the stuff about my second great-grandfather's mining accident that killed him. And then and by the way, here's the marriage certificate of the guy that she ended up marrying for her second marriage as her second husband after her first husband passed away. And then here's her life here in New Zealand, and here's her death certificate. Here's her death information. This is where she's buried. So we can prove that she lived in New Zealand. We can prove that she lived in Australia. We just have no idea what ship she was on to get from one country to the other. So that was kind of fun looking at that. And the problem is that you, when you're proving or disproving things, you have to take a lot of research notes, a lot of information about the source that you were using. So you have to be able to go back and say, if you go to this particular page here is a copy of the death certificate, copy of the marriage certificate, blah, 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 whatever. So you have to be able to prove everything and write up a case study about it. And there's some really, really cool case studies out there. And if you're part of the National Genealogical Society, they have a quarterly publication that comes out that has these case studies in it, and talks about how they discovered this or how they were able to prove this. And they're really cool. And now that I've read something, oh, this is really cool. But now that I've seen all of the workings behind it, and how they came to write that article and back it up and everything else, it's kind of like, well, that's really cool. I kind of like that thing. So, maybe we'll still do the general one, but we may just start, because of the hours and everything else that's involved, we may just start narrowing into a question and going about answering that question. So, it's very interesting. So interesting times looking at my business. How am I going to structure it? And then I have a class coming up in May or June. Not sure which. Somewhere around that May, June, July period. There's another, it's on forensic genealogy, which is something that has kind of piqued my interest since I first learned about it. So there's that. And then there was another couple of niches within genealogy that I looked and went, oh, that'd be really good to investigate too. So, we're always keeping options open and taking what we learned and applying it, which is the best way to learn is to, invest, learn, and teach. So invest in a program, learn about it, then turn around and teach it. So yeah, we're going to be revamping the business a little bit, and making little tweaks and changes here and there to different things. And so it's going to become very interesting taking this new approach to genealogy, and seeing what comes out of it. But anyway, rabbited on long enough. I need dinner. It's Oh my gosh, it's 8:16. It's past my eating time, but I do need sustenance. So go have a super fantastic, sparkling rest of your evening, and we'll catch you guys back here bright and early tomorrow morning for Fun Friday. Hei konera.